We are back for the massive, this guy, Chewbacca. Chewbacca is the key to this team, in my opinion. What do you think, Wolfie?
Oh, Chewbacca's no joke. He keeps you going.
He's got to stay.
Oh man,
he's got to stay alive. He's the man. This guy.
You lose Chewie if they start targeting him. That's when I start getting nervous.
Yes. It's direct after him. So let's go ahead and get started on him. Let's start with his abilities as we normally do. Basic, deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict tenacity down for 2 turns.
Tenacity down is a big one.
It's a pretty basic.
But it's pretty basic, but
yeah.
Tenacity down cannot be resisted.
Yes.
So as long as he hits,
right,
he's applying that tenacity down.
Yep.
So whenever Chewbacca assists, you're going to apply your debuffs on that character. And that is clutch.
Yep.
That is very important.
So with that said, turn meter wise, is there somewhere we can put him in position of the rotation in order to make sure he lands it like with the Geos?
If you're trying to go for like that, then you can put him second for over there. But you know, the squad positioning for the CLS, you know, is a little bit with who you want to pass the guard to. You can get pretty in depth over there. That may be a whole
that's a whole
CLS
other thing too.
Conversation, but yeah.
Our boy Ram was telling me one day put Chupio in the second spot and then it'll pass to him. I'm like, wait a minute, how does that make sense? But yeah, that's a whole nother. You're right, it's a whole nother scenario. Pulverize, I love this ability, so good. Dispels all buffs on all enemies, then deal physical damage to all enemies. Chewbacca gains offense up, critical chance up for 2 turns, and the key part, this attack ignores defense as well.
Yeah.
Yes, great ability.
It's nice.
I love stripping buffs.
It's one of the few ignore defense they've left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do a stupid amount of damage, but you know, ignore defense is nice.
On everyone though, on 5 people. Yeah. I love characters at AoE. God, I love characters at AoE. It's back to the Warlock days.
Dispelling buffs, can't go wrong.
Not at all. Deal physical damage to target enemy and stun. There's another stun. Then if the target has no protection, reset Pulverize's ability cooldown. This attack cannot be evaded. Right through foresight, baby. Loyal friend. This is where guard comes in. I'll let Wolfie go on this one a little further on a tangent about it. At the start of battle, grant the guard to the weakest ally and Han Solo. We talked about this in the Han Solo video. Chewbacca assists when a guarded ally uses any ability during their turn, doing 20% less damage. Limited once per turn. When Chewbacca deals damage to an enemy, Chewbacca and all guarded allies recover 3% health and protection. And they also, Wolf, with guard, can't what?
Cannot be critically hit, dazed, or stunned.
Darn right. And then the plus 25% critical chance. It is a beautiful thing. So idiosyncrasies, any idiosyncrasies about guard? How do we get guard on that? We know that Han Solo gets it. Who's the other character that gets it?
Yeah, so Han gets it by default just because he's Han Solo. You know, they got a little bromance going on.
Yep.
Respect. Chewbacca is also going to guard the weakest ally. So weakest is going to be lowest combined health and protection.
Going into the battle.
Lowest numbers.
Going into the battle. It doesn't change as they lose health and protection. It's going into the battle.
Correct. Right. Well, yeah, so on the first turn, whoever's wherever it is, yeah, it's not going to change throughout the course of the battle.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
I just want to clarify that because it does not say that in the game. Good job, CG, because it's a question I have.
There's a couple little interesting things with the guards. Like if you put a CLS team on defense and then somebody, you know, goes and attacks it and fails against it and then happens to work, let's say your 3PO down to almost like to red health, and then they go in again. Your 3PO's in red health, he's the lowest combined health and protection.
Right.
He gets the guard that time.
That's a great example.
Even though it may have gone to CLS initially.
Right. That's a good example. Who do you like to have guarded?
On offense, generally, you want to have CLS guarded.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have CLS make sure he cannot be messed with at all. You want him, have him calling extra assists with Chewie. That's what you want on offense generally. On defense, it's a little bit better to have your Chewpio guarded as opposed to your CLS, but
the hard part that comes in is like for me, I've got a gear. I think I just brought him to 12, but I had Chewpio at gear 11. It was next to impossible to have a Relic CLS.
Oh yeah,
and a gear 11 Chewpio and get guard on Chewpio. It was so frustrating, no matter what mods I put on him. But
Yeah, it's the only problem with that. But
So they've got to be.
once you get them up to relic levels, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, I used to run it before with GPO. I used to do the same thing with R2, and I could never get it on the right characters. It was so frustrating. All right, his last one and his second Zeta, Chewbacca is immune to. Actually, let me. When Chewbacca deals damage to an enemy, he deals bonus damage equal to 20% of their max health. It's a big hit. When Chewbacca takes damage from an attack, he gains 25% offense and 25% critical chance until his next turn. When Chewbacca or guarded ally takes damage from an attack, reduce Furious Bowcaster's cooldown by 1. What's your take on this ability?
Bring it back up. I mean, that's a great ability right there. Just go back to the non-Zeta portion, just because the ability block and the cooldown increase. I mean, that's a nice portion of it, but it's sort of a luxury Zeta.
Exactly.
Not the most important things to his kit. But that extra damage that he's doing, that 20% of their max health, that is just huge. Considering he's assisting all the time.
Yep.
Chewbacca puts out some serious damage.
He really does. He really does. And I'm glad I'm glad you brought that up because Zeta priority, his other Zeta is Loyal Friend, so that's the guard one.
Yeah.
So
that one,
that's where you can recover health and protection. It's 100% get that Zeta. We talked about that in the last video. Get CLS's third Zeta, this Zeta, and then go to Han Solo. It's kind of the priority list-ish. But this, to your point, that one here is a luxury. It would be nice to be able to use all his abilities, but I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like, because they get out so fast, that I get ability blocked very often.
Especially
I guess
the
maybe
team you're taking him against, like if you're taking CLS against Gas,
I was just gonna say
nobody
Gas.
on the Gas team ability blocks you.
Right.
So it's not even a.
He
a
does
big
the
issue.
cooldown increase though.
Yes, he does do the cooldown increase, but you're controlling the fight most of the time anyways.
Right.
So it shouldn't even really be an issue.
Shouldn't really be a factor. It would make it easier, I would think.
It's nice. It definitely makes things easier. It gives the ship a little extra speed. A little extra stats over there, but it's definitely a luxury Zeta.
If you can afford it later on to ship harder, I'm all for it. But you guys can see there, I have not put this on any of my accounts. I have chosen not to do it. I don't see the need. The team is just too good without it. If I 100% for some reason need the milk to get up some more, it's already a great ship. I don't feel like I need to get it any higher. Okay, so modding wise, let's talk mods. So your recommendation, if I'm understanding this right, is Tenacity times 6.
And it seems that we agree.
Mm-hmm.
Tenacity, more tenacity to go with his tenacity.
We agreed to an extent. Remember, I talk about the lower end too. So
okay,
the tenacity is for certain counters at the upper end of the game, and you don't, again, want him getting ability blocked and more importantly, dazed, especially at the end game, because to waste the CLS team that's a huge waste. This team is there. It can take out the majority of the teams in this game if modded well. So but what is your take on why so much tenacity? And where is your Chewbacca tenacity wise?
Where is my Chewbacca tenacity wise? I'm not even sure.
I'm at 150% on this account right here.
Let's see.
It really wasn't that difficult to scale it either.
No, it's not even that crazy. I'm a little bit lower than you. I'm only at a $145, but yeah, tenacity, all of the tenacity. You don't want him getting stunned. You don't want him getting dazed. He just needs to be, continuously going. Because also you look at the loyal friend over there. You got his Zeta with the recovery. Whenever Chewbacca is doing damage, right?
Yep.
The guarded allies are gaining that health and protection.
Yep. If
he's stunned, if he's not assisting, nobody's recovering.
Yep. That's a
so
good point.
So you just negated that entire Zeta.
So if he's dazed, they're not healing, right? Yeah.
Right.
Call. Yep. So the community is saying tenacity at a rate of 38%. Now, mind you, this stat is the top end guilds. So these are the top end guilds. So, and then you're looking at 17% is the next one at crit damage and crit chance, and then followed by tenacity health. So there's tenacity on each one of them. From the best triangle, they're recommending a crit damage triangle, but I do believe there is plays for other ones as well, maybe protection and health. Protection at 18%, but the majority of people are doing crit damage. If you can get the crit damage, I think Wolfie's with me in this. You should put the crit damage. Do you agree,
Yeah,
Wolf?
the crit damage is a good one. If you need the more protection, maybe a little bit more thickness, you could argue for that one just to make sure he's surviving, make sure he's staying in the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, crit damage is definitely there.
Wait.
He's assisting all the time. He's putting out damage. You just want to keep that going.
57% recommend tenacity, but again, that's end game. The next set is 23% on offense. Best circle, this whole team is protection, guys. It really is. And then speed on the arrow with a few with offense, but again, they're probably have so much speed already that they can afford to put an offense. I got a couple characters like that. I'm sure you do too. Where you're like, you know what? I want more offense because this guy's already fast enough.
Oh, absolutely.
So I added on there.
100%.
Wait until you see my main.
You got some good offense arrows. You got some, if you can find some very solid non-speed primary arrows, those come in clutch.
So I'm not quite at the end game yet. It's 7.2 million, and this team does some pretty good work. But mine has actually got crit damage mods with tenacity. So
also a valid strategy.
So you're probably going to judge me here. I've got potency on my cross. The reason being is the potency doesn't really hurt, but I got 20 speed on top of it, which allows me to get up to 264. That is the reason on this account that I have it where it's at. My tenacity, surprisingly, is at around 76%. I would prefer to have tenacity on that mod, but it is what it is. And then part of it, too, was the gold mods for the ship. But on the well-modded account, and the one that's going to be facing more of the top-end teams here real soon, is tenacity stacked with more tenacity. Secondary mods, Wolf. What are we adding?
Tenacity. No, realistically, I mean, you have a little bit of potency on your other one to try and land some stuns. I mean, it's nice when you can land the stun, but you're doing tenacity down in your basic, so you're gonna land the stuns if you're facing a tenacity downed character. A little bit of extra thickness if you can do it. A little bit of extra speed is never a bad thing, just to make sure in case he happens to get stunned or dazed. Give him some speed so he can come out of that.
Yeah,
nothing crazy.
I've got him listed with more tenacity. You can get the better, and then obviously speed is a close second. And then from there,
offense.
I'm adding offense, protection, any health and potency you can afford.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, defense probably wouldn't hurt here either, but I don't have it on the list.
Those are you'll have mods and be like, I rolled defense, whatever. It's not gonna hurt.
Too many mods with defense.
Yeah, right.
Relic priority.
Chewbacca's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Chewbacca's he's up there.
He's a crew member.
The ship priority.
Yep.
Exactly.
He's the one that got to survive in order to keep this train moving.
He was
my first relic on all my accounts. Well, first Rebel CLS team.
Relic. Of the CLS team, okay.
Yeah. You don't want to know who my first relics were.
Interesting first relic.
My first relic was Edifice Nest.
Mine was either Grievous or Grandmaster Yoda. I'm trying to remember.
Grievous is in the back call. Yoda was late. I was late game with Yoda. Speed minimum
Grievous
goal on this
GMY,
guy.
Mid to upper 200s. The more you have him, he just needs to be there. Just a lot of tenacity, a lot of assisting. Doesn't need a crazy amount of speed.
I don't think he needs a crazy amount either.
240, 260 is plenty of speed on him.
I will agree with you on that one. The 240-ish range is plenty for him. If you go with a minimum, I'm going to go with 230 for the lower end. If you can get him there, that's awesome. Again,
if you don't get the mod depth, I mean, I wouldn't go crazy trying to pump him up with speed.
Yep.
More tenacity.
Yep, 100%. But you can't go wrong with crit damage on him, especially early game, because you need more damage pumping it out.
Right.
In his mastery, well, actually look at it like the rest of the team. He's got actually accuracy, damage, and defense penetration. So he is based off of damage dealing, basically. He needs to hit according to this mastery. But if you go into his actual relic, he's going to be looking at mastery with health, crit chance, armor penetration, accuracy, armor. So he's all over the place. He's got offense and defensive stats everywhere on him. So great character though. If I'm going to put my mats into a character on this team, it's going to be Chewbacca.
Oh yeah,
100% going to be Chewbacca. He's the one that's got to survive.
Oh, he does work.
Yeah, he's just so good. He is the versatility tool on this team. Outside of maybe 3-Chewpio, when you add him to this squad, he just boosts that team immensely. So, anything else you want to cover, Wolfie, on this guy?
Man, I think we've hit it pretty good. Chewbacca's no joke.
He is no joke. We'll follow up soon with, these are all we're going to shoot today, guys, but we're going to follow up with Chewpio and probably C-3PO. I'm assuming. Who else would you add to the squad, Wolf?
Pretty much 3PO.
Yeah.
That's your main fifth for the team.
That's what I'm thinking as well. So we'll do him as the fifth. While he is a versatile guy, the majority of the time he's going to go with, even in 3v3, he goes with CLS.
Now, if you don't have 3PO, you can throw R2. You can throw old Ben.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple other options
for
the you know, for the Rebel team if you don't have, you know, all of the legendaries, all of the everything. That's one of the things with this team. It's a fantastic team. But CLS is a journey guide. Chewbacca is a legendary. Han is a raid character, and 3PO is also a legendary unlock. Chewpio is the only one who's regularly farmed. So there is a good amount that goes into this team. The team can kill GLs.
It's one of the top teams in the game. It is definitely an A tier team in my book. Outside of Galactic Legends, especially when you add in 3Chewpio. So even as a brand new player, you guys should be farming 3Chewpio. He's that fourth.
Oh yeah.
He's that fourth. And when you get into 3v3, you're going to need him more than likely to expand your teams to go. One of the best teams in the game right now, 3v3 wise, to split up is CLS, Chewpio, and C3PO. So if you've got 6 of them, it works out really well for 3v3. And we predict that 3v3 is going to be here every other month again. So
yes,
get used to it for your crystal income. Again, Wolfie, thank you for that, man, and I appreciate looking forward to doing more videos.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, you got it. And if you ever start that YouTube channel, let me know. I'll promote it. Get that in here. In the meantime, I'm going to do this right for Ram, because Ram's yelling at me in the background about, hey, do me a favor. Take him off the screen when you do the outro. Don't forget, guys.
Someone's jealous.
Hit that follow button for a brother, and in the meantime, we are 1 battalion strong.
We are 1
Hey, there's
battalion strong.